Hi everyone, welcome back to Be Rich. I have Shashwat with me here today, and we are here to talk about Manappuram because it has been in the news today, and we would be just doing disservice to the channel if we do not talk about Manappuram. Though me and Shashwat had something else lined up today to talk about, but since it's been quite what do you call a big talk on Manappuram, I don't want to say anything negative because I don't think there's fundamentally anything negative with Manappuram. And those of you who want to see Anand's video should be up also up on today's Money page where he's spoken about it in Tamil. I brought Shashwat on board to get his views on it also. There's a different perspective from Anand's, though Anand's perspective is what we all follow and we all stick to. Just to give a reassurance to all of you who have been looking at Manappuram, should you be worried or not is a fundamental question. Two things which I want to hopefully answer by the end of the video is one, is there anything fundamentally you should worry about Manappuram? Is it a risk? Has it gone up? So, in terms of it becoming a riskier option, that is one question we should try and answer. Second question, which I want to try and answer is now the risk is sorted out. What should be your investment strategy going forward? Because lots of you who saw it go to 120 saw it go below 200 and thought it's an excellent opportunity, been dipping into it. And then you saw it going to 190, 180, been dipping and dipping. Some of you have taken a little more than your Tiffin coffee range and you're feeling rather nervous. Some of you have taken, you know, dips all the way along, but you feel like, wait, has it reached a price point where I should just like break my bank and really go to town on Manappuram? So these are the questions which I hopefully will give you some answers to by end of the video. Just make sure you understand in this video, we're not trying to tell you to buy Manappuram or sell Manappuram. We're just trying to explain to you what is happening in Manappuram. And after that, how you should have a mindset as a value investor based on what we're saying. That said, Shashwat, what is wrong with Manappuram? Why? What has happened?
It comes right as we talked about microfinance, right? It comes almost as if it's a parody of our timeline. But yes, we did talk about microfinance 2 days ago, and
Correct.
we one of the points we mentioned was excessive interest rates. We said that interest rates are generally higher for microfinance loans than it is for, let's say, a standard loan in the financial sector. I read some of the comments, and a lot of you said that yes, interest rates are higher, but then why do people go for it? Why do people accept higher interest rates? Well, it's as simple as this. The company is inherently taking on a risk by lending to a person who is not willing to give collateral. So this is something which is important to know, because even as investors, when you're investing in a riskier asset, you expect to be compensated for that risk which you're taking. So, similarly, if I'm going to give my money out with no collateral in return, finance dictates that I ask for a higher rate of return. Otherwise, it's no incentive. I could just go to the normal financial sector and start lending there. But the reason why I'm doing microfinance is, of course, because I'm going to get something extra out of it that I'm not going to get with normal lending. I'm not going to talk about the ethics of it and the morality of it, because I think that's a completely different kettle of fish, which, if our viewers are interested in, maybe we can discuss later on from a moralistic point of view. But from a purely financial point of view, this is the case. Now, the RBI crackdown comes at a point when microfinance has been penetrating quite deeply into India. So, this RBI crackdown is basically against Ashirvad, which is a part of Manappuram Finance, which does microfinance lending. And it has also cracked down on other NBFCs which also do microfinance lending because of their supposedly higher interest rates, which don't align with RBI policies. And there are a few other policy kinks which these companies didn't apparently fall under, which is why the RBI has said that you can manage whatever loans you have, but you are not allowed to issue more loans in the future until further notice. So, what does this mean for Ashirvad? It basically means that whatever they've already lent out right now, that's all they're going to be able to manage. And if they want to be able to lend further in the future, they have to come under RBI guidelines. They have to follow the guidelines. They have to dot their I's and cross their T's. They have to basically make sure that everything they do is up to code. What this may entail, we'll have to see in the future, of course. But this isn't immediately Ashirvad going bankrupt. Let's be real about it. They're just not allowed to issue further loans. That doesn't mean that the Manappuram company has come collapsing. And another thing to note is that Ashirvad, that is microfinance lending, is one part of the business. Yes, it's an important part. It's a part which all of us like and cherish in our investment, but it's not the end of the world. And like Warren Buffett with salad oil and the salad oil scandal, I think there is something of an opportunity here for someone like us who are long-term investors. Yes, it's possible that the situation gets worse and Ashirvad decides that it doesn't want to follow what the RBI guideline is, and in the worst case scenario, the 1% chance that the entire business somehow randomly decides to vanish in thin air, Manappuram would still be fine. But we all know that the people at Manappuram are level headed. They have a good head on their shoulders. They're not people who are very rash in what they do. I'm sure that they'll take an action or they'll come to a consensus which will push the company towards the right direction, which will push them towards being up to code in what they do. And I'm sure this issue will get resolved. Maybe not in a few months, maybe in a year, but I'm sure that it'll get resolved. And at the end of the day, the RBI is not out here to villainize themselves against enterprises. They're only here to protect the end consumer. And as long as the RBI feels that the end consumer has been protected in their action, I'm sure that the RBI will be accommodating of every single enterprise in India. I have that belief completely. So, what do you think about this?
I agree with what you said wholeheartedly. I give it two thumbs up for that because there's nothing to worry about here. If anything, it should give you confidence that our machinery works, RBI works. They're keeping an eye on these things. We always get negative news in the market, and these plot lines in all these movies saying how these people are swindling and they're taking money away and the government is not doing anything. So this is an opportunity to say yes, there is oversight. You may agree with it or not. The way it was done is a separate thing, but there are rules, and there's someone checking the rules and making sure we're following. And that's what this basically was about. It got timeout was called because that's what it is. Middle of the match, looks like the bowler's action is not correct. So the umpires have taken to a huddle and said, wait a minute, we are discussing here. And they're talking to the third umpire and they're having a discussion in the dugout to see if this bowler can be allowed to bowl or not, is what is basically being discussed. So, in what situations like this will happen, the captain will say, don't worry, I will not use this bowler, which is what Manappuram will say, no problem, we'll continue doing our other businesses. Whatever we have
Yeah.
been sanctioned, we'll release those funds till the 21st, and then we will wait till you guys decide if everything is okay, if we are doing the right things. Or it might be a warning, they might come back and say your action is not correct, make sure don't do it. So to see how far the damage could be from this in terms of earnings, in terms of business for Manappuram, we'll have to wait and watch. It all depends on what Manappuram goes back to RBI and what discussions they have and what they do, what RBI asks them to do, and how fast they're able to implement it and show that they were, following the rules which are set by RBI. And then to show the checks and balances are being put into place, then RBI will lift the ban and say, okay, you can carry on. This has happened to other companies in the past from RBI, and they've come back. And you've seen their share prices get hammered, going down by 30%. But of course, it didn't recover back to where it was, but it did recover slightly after that. So that way, this is where Manappuram stands, right? It's not fundamentally anything damaging to Manappuram. And this kind of gives you an insight into why there was a delay in their floating of Ashirvad as a separate company. If you do recall, a few months back, we were talking about how Ashirvad is going to be unlocked and how Manappuram in their balance sheet has Ashirvad as a huge part of it. And they're going to unleash that as a separate company. And as a value investor, you're going to get two companies for the price of one. There's a microfinance company sitting inside all these discussions we had. Then the news came out saying Manappuram has decided right now the climate is not great for microfinance and we're now going to spin it off separately. So kind of all brings all of it together to understand why it is where it is. So I don't think there's anything fundamentally wrong. It is all good and fine that these kind of things are in place. And as an investor now in Manappuram, what Shashwat said is also true, that fundamentally they're a gold lending company. That's how they started their business, and they have not changed that. They still do a lot of business in gold, and they continue doing in gold. And if you keep in mind, gold has already broken $2,700, and it's going upwards because the Fed is going to do further rate cuts. And as the rates cut keeps coming, gold price will keep going higher. And even in India, gold price will start going higher. That way, Manappuram is very safe and very secure. So there's nothing to worry about in Manappuram. Now, the question comes, why this price collapse happened? Well, this price collapse happened for the simple reason the FIIs who are heavily invested in this, right? They decided, okay, the earnings of Manappuram in the future is going to tank in the short term at least because of what's happened with Ashirvad. We really do not know how much of the earnings is going to get affected. So it is overpriced. They felt first it was 200 was okay. Now they're correcting and saying maybe 170, 180, like this. The DIIs, mutual funds, all these guys, they're asserting that this should be the price, that should be the price. And when that happens, immediately mutual funds have to react because if they have bought it at a higher price, they have to book profits and get out and stay at the price band where they think they should be at. So immediately they'll book their profits and move into a position which is right for their price band. So they have an upper limit and they have a lower limit. They try and hit that sweet spot according to them. And that is what you see the movement in. Not everybody in the market, like I was saying in another video, is there as a value investor or believing in Warren Buffett. There are lots of people in the market of every type and color and sort, like how we have a world which is full of diversity. The market is also full of diversity with different views and opinions. And these people participate in the market and they feel they are at these positions. So, what I want you to understand is if there's no risk change, fundamentally, there's no change in risk. Yes, in terms of earnings, it's going to affect them in some short to medium term. But if you're looking at holding Manappuram for 10 years plus, like what Anand says, then you don't have to anything to. This is nothing really to worry about. Maybe you can take this as an opportunity if you have the courage. Talking of courage, I want Shashwat to explain. Like I said, various people are reaching out with various issues when it comes to Manappuram. Three main issues. One, we have people who have bought, which I want you to first answer, Shashwat. What should you do if you have bought Manappuram, let's say at 99, 100, 110, and you've let it sitting and you've watched this nice rise to 220. Now you see it coming down to 150, 140. They all this time they didn't bother because they're like, even 70, I'm at a good profit. Now it might come to 120 and they may stay there for some time. They're asking me if I bought it at 90 to 100 price band range, should I book profit and then buy it, at 120 or 130? They're saying, shall I do that? For that, what would be your advice?
Well, I'd say that look, what's the difference between selling, booking profits, and then buying again? That I'm not able to process what the line of. I mean, I see where they're coming from,
Correct.
but
I
I'm
agree
not
with you.
able to see. Yeah, I'm not able to exactly see why they would do this. This sounds like something I would have thought of and thought that I was a genius when I was, investing, let's say 3 4 years ago. Because I have
Correct.
asked questions like this to my other uncle, saying that, look, what if I sell right now and then I book my profits, and then when the market cracks, I'll just buy again, and then I'll make more money. And then he'll say, "What's wrong with you? Why do you want to put yourself through this stress? Why do you want to
Correct.
for 1 rupee, 2 rupee difference, 3 rupees difference, let's say even
Correct.
20 rupees difference. Why do you want to time the
Correct.
market? What if the stock ends up going like to 200 tomorrow because RBI suddenly decides that they made a mistake with the ruling and they
Yes.
decide to repeal the intervention?
It's
You never
happened.
know these things. I mean, yeah, it's happened before. Stranger things have happened before, and you never know with these things. So if you fundamentally think that Manapuram is going to give you good returns in, let's say, 10 years time, then it hardly matters whether you book profits today, book losses today. Doesn't matter what you book. As long as you're able to hold something for 10 years, you should be able to make outsized returns. I doubt whether Warren Buffett thought 10 times about selling Coca-Cola when they had their recipe change disaster, and then so that I'll book my profits and then I'll buy again. We don't see that happening. Whatever he's bought in Coca-Cola when he was, as young as he was, he's owned until now, right now. He's been getting dividends from it. He's been getting stock buybacks because Coca-Cola has been continuously buying up its own share. And he's just held on and he's comfortable. He's sitting in his throne enjoying the money which was compounded for him, which
Correct.
Coca-Cola has compounded for him. So, yeah, that's the first
Yeah.
question. What's the second one?
This reminds me of the story of Bhagavad Gita, where, Krishna will say, in a very nice way, but I'm just paraphrasing here, that human beings have a tendency of running to God only when things bad happen. You know,
Yes.
Disaster strikes, you run to the temple and say, "Oh God, oh God." But when your life is nice and everything is fantastic, you're all like to think, "I'm doing it. I'm doing it so well. I should be proud of myself." That time, God is out the window. Same way, when you have invested and your investment is going negative, you think, "Okay, I must sell." And there is another flip where people feel like they should be booking profits, and it's absolutely bad either way you look at it. If you think you're being very smart, like Shashwat says, and you're saying, "I'm going to sell it at this price and then re-enter it again," for what? Our investments are nickel and dimes. We have invested maybe 20,000 rupees, 30, okay, even 1 lakh, okay, and after the tax and everything put together, all the cost added up, you stand to hardly make a couple of thousand rupees. This couple
Add
of
the
thousand,
mental cost into it.
yeah, and
Yeah.
the couple of thousand rupees, is it going to give you a satisfaction of I become a millionaire? No. And like Shashwat said, a guy who has billions in the market, he's not selling every time he sees $2 here, $3 there. He's not selling everything and buying it again. And he can make billions because he's got such huge positions. He can make a lot of money
Yeah.
by just
Yeah.
because 2-3
Absolutely.
percentage on on $80 billion is a lot of money. But even he is not moving. So learn from that. There's no reason. If you have a reason to sell, which should be there's a fundamental change in business, there is something wrong with the company or something wrong in the market, or you need the money. I have a problem, I need the money. Go ahead, sell. But if there's nothing fundamentally changed, then selling is off the table altogether. You should not be even considering it. And
I,
that's the hardest thing to do. You know,
yeah.
Even if you're selling for
I
profit
have
or is selling for loss, not selling is very difficult.
And I have a proposed solution because I know where this is coming from. This is coming from wanting to do something, wanting constant action to do something to, make a play somewhere. And because the human mind is conditioned to think that you have to keep doing something in order to reap some benefits out of it. Now, we're saying something completely opposite. We're saying that the longer you can keep your hands out of the market, that is, the longer you can keep your hands steady, and you don't move and you don't make too many movements in the market, the better your returns are going to be. And this is going against the human psyche, because our psyche
Correct.
is that action leads to reaction. If I don't perform an action, I'm not going to get an outcome. But non-action is an action, and that's something which
Correct.
which has to be understood. And if you feel this constant need for action, then a good idea could be to set away, let's say if your entire budget is 2 lakh rupees, set away 5,000 rupees to sit and play around in the market. If you feel like you need this constant action to feel like you're doing something, I don't do this personally, but if this is something you want to do, set away a small chunk of money to play around, and be fine with it if you lose it.
Correct. But
That's the kind
the
of.
fundamental thing you should remember there in this is it's your psychology. It's like
Yeah.
cheat meals. Some people can do cheat meals. I can't personally do cheat meals at all. If I try to do cheat meals, I'll be cheating up and down the wazoo. Every meal,
Yeah.
I'll be calculating. I can't do this calorie calculation and all that for nuts. And I end up overeating no matter what I do. So only for me, it's either on and off. So intermittent fasting personally works for me. There are no off days, there are no on days. You just try and stay on that as long as you can, as much as you can, and that works for me. Because if I tell myself, like what Shashwat says, you did so well, so today you can eat one chocolate or ice cream. That chocolate ice cream turns into a slide, and before I know it, I'm completely up, fully eating, Lay's chips and Coca Cola and everything. I'll be like, then feeling like crap about it. That can happen when investing too. If you have 2 lakhs set and you say only 5,000 rupees you're playing with, suddenly some 5,000 rupees you're seeing some profit or something, and immediately your brain will tell you, maybe you can make that 5,000, 50,000. Today's a
Yeah.
good day. Luck is on your side.
Yeah.
You'll tell you all your signs of excuses will come out of you because your mind won't be quiet. And before you know it, that 2 lakhs is all money which you're playing with. So if you have that kind of temperament and control, like, then go for it. But my advice would be, like, if you're like me and you have zero control and you tend to trigger easily, don't. Because I've been buying Manapuram since my brother told me to buy Manapuram from 50 rupees. I bought Manapuram even when it was 200 rupees and 210 rupees. I bought Manapuram when it was 190 rupees, and I bought Manapuram today when it went to 150, 140, whatever. I keep buying. When I have money on my table, which is my tiffin coffee, and my brother says, Vinod, this is something you should be looking at, I just say, okay, fundamentally, business is sound, everything is sound. Check the boxes, like Shashwat says. There's nothing fundamentally wrong. You keep going, you keep picking away at it. Because our goal, like Shashwat says, is to become wealthy. And the process of becoming wealthy is filtering noise. Today's primal example is this is noise. It might be good noise, it might be the kind of noise you feel like, but it's still noise. And it takes a great deal of self control to pull yourself back from the noise and say, wait, there is nothing fundamentally changing here. There's nothing this should be worried about. Then I trudge on. But the important thing is, you should do the research and you should read the articles, you should read the RBI circular, and then come out saying, yeah, okay, I understand this. If you're not doing that and you're relying on Anand telling you, Shashwath or Vinod telling you, then you're in deep trouble. You know, you have to do the work. So if you do not know what Manappuram business is, you do not know what Ashirvada is, you do not know what microfinance is, and you don't know what RBI is doing and what is happening. If all this just like, oh my God, like you're like a deer caught in headlights suddenly, like all this time I've been buying, oh my God, what am I doing wrong? Oh no, oh no. That means you're doing fundamentally what you're doing wrong is not Manappuram or investing. It's that you're not even bothering to learn about what you're investing in. And that's where the fear
Yeah.
comes from. And if you want to get rid of that fear, my friend, there's no other way than reading it and asking questions about it. Asking, okay, in a microfinance company, they lend like this. What does this mean? What is peer to peer lending? What is collective lending? Whatever it is, you want to clarify it. Ask questions and get it clarified, and then invest. Don't just blindly follow whatever everybody is doing. Then you'll feel very nervous.
And just one point to add on is that, like he said, I even before this video, we sat down for about 20 minutes where we were doing some reading just to make sure what to talk about in this video. And during that time, I took some time to sit and do some calculations on this notebook where I went through the numbers of Manappuram again. I went on screener.in. Everyone has access to screener.in. I went through the numbers and I basically did discounted cash flow. I calculated what their cash flow would be, what their, I gave each of their years a number of, percentage of growth in their earnings. And I did the calculation and I saw what their book value and their EPS would be in 5 years. And I'm satisfied with this sort of return. I mean, I'm more than satisfied. I'd be very happy about this sort of return. But one thing you have to understand is that things can go very wrong before it goes right. So
Correct.
the any
And can stay
yeah
wrong for a
any
long time.
yes, it can stay wrong for a long time. And if you're getting into this, you just need to know that you have to prepare to brace yourself for anything and everything in investing. And you can leave comments on the videos like in 2 months saying that, hey, you guys said that this is a small portion of the business, but look at the stock price, it's gone to 20 rupees. What I mean, all my money is gone. And then but then the point of this video is that you have to do your own research and you have to make sure that you are fine with the risk which you're taking. And
Because
if
we
you're
are
able to
fine
get a
doing what we are
certain,
doing.
yeah, even if it goes to 20, I'm happy holding that company. But
Yeah, because
again,
of June 2024, FI holding in Manappuram was 33%. And they've been selling because of China. And China's news from China is very good. Their economic numbers have come out and they're all better than what they was expected. So the FIs are going to go more towards China now because the Chinese factory numbers are good, consumer numbers are good. So generally everyone's feeling very hard about China, which is what we actually want to talk about today. But we'll do that tomorrow, I guess. But that means more FIIs are going to sell everything in India and move, ship. So you may see, like Shashwath said, Manappuram might even come to below 100. I don't know. If it does, me and Shashwath will be like, okay, you don't want it, we'll take it.
yeah,
But me and Shashwath are like your rat because you see, those guys with those gunny sacks, with torn up clothes, looking into the garbage, those Onyx boxes or whatever they call now, those green garbage, we'll be rummaging through and think, I'll take out something and say, Shashwath, look at this. We can go sell this for a couple of bucks. Shashwath like, yeah, mama, this is great. That's the way we do buying. That's how cigar butts or whatever you want to call it, Gem. Ben Graham's methodology and all that is we look at the floor. We're never looking like this and buying. We are busy looking down and saying, okay, because wealth is built like that. It takes time to pick up the spare change. You know, in the fountains in Europe, they'll throw spare change. But if you are willing to wait and clean up that fountain. You make phenomenal amount. Like in Walt Disney, tourists throw money into the fountain in Walt Disney, like how they throw in Europe. all that money is inside Walt Disney's pocket for free. For whatever reason, people are throwing coin away. And if you think about all the number of tourists who come to Walt Disney, visitors who come and who keep throwing coin to their fountains, that's just people throwing money away. And that's the way me and Shastra look at it. When FIIs sell, DIIs sell, and they want to get rid of something, we're like, okay, you know, fair enough. You don't want it. We can use it. We'll take it. So it takes a lot of
Exactly.
courage to have that mindset. And that is why risk assessment is very important. And having a financial advisor is important. And not just doing this on based on Instagram videos and YouTube videos and some random friend telling you something. Because you'll only end up getting hurt because you really do not know what you're doing. So please, please, please,
And
please, even after the last microfinance video which we did, after me and you saying so much, people have reached out to trader and said, like Sachwat said, we shouldn't buy this. And me and Shashwat never said anything of that sort.
yeah.
Even in this video, we're not asking you to buy Manappuram or sell Manappuram. Fundamentally, it's up to you based on what your appetite is. And
We're
how
giving you
can
the
we tell
facts.
you? Yeah. It's
Yeah.
like seeing Dwayne Johnson's video of him lifting weights and then deciding I'll go and lift, I'll go do 200 pounds, 500 pounds, I'll break my back. I'll be in the hospital. And you guys will call me crazy for doing that. So I don't know. My advice would be don't panic. There's nothing to worry about. Okay. If there's fundamentally anything to worry about, we'll definitely come back and do another video on that and saying, you guys, there is something to worry about. We change our minds. We are humans and things change. So we'll come and say that. But as of now, if you have faith, keep the faith, as John Bon Jovi says. But if you don't have faith and you're feeling nervous, for heaven's sake, like Shashwat said, run to the hills. But it's your choice. I know it's hard. I know it's hard. I know you want someone to give you the answers. I do get that. Me and Shashwat have been there a few years back where we just wanted someone to tell us all the answers. Forget the
But it
questions.
never
Just tell
works
me the
out.
answer. Yeah, never works out.
Yeah.
Never works out. You can't
Yeah.
wish your life into happiness. So thanks for watching the videos, guys. And catch me on Instagram, the 52 Challenge Week group over there. You can come and drop your feedback, your thoughts about this video over there too, and we can interact there. And next video, me and Shashwat do plan to talk about China. Hopefully, that'll be tomorrow, where Shashwat kind of deep dives and tries to explain what is happening in China, what is all the excitement about, and should you be worried or should you be happy? We'll try and talk about that tomorrow. And hopefully, there won't be nothing earth shattering tomorrow in the market, so we can get that done for you. Thanks for watching the video, and we will see you tomorrow. Thank you.
Hey guys, welcome back to Be Rich. Before we get into the video, I wanted to bring to your notice that my uncles Vinod Srinivasan, Anand Srinivasan and I have rolled out our Substack, which is basically a blog / newsletter where we're going to post our original research onto it. And we've analyzed macroeconomic trends. And a lot of you know my uncle Anand Srinivasan and I regularly write for The Hindu, and these articles are also going to be made available for you in the Substack. The link is moatinvesting.substack.com. You'll find it in the description and in the video right now. We hope you go check it out. We've put a lot of time and effort into it. And please give us comments and feedback on what you read. Thank you.
It's a great privilege and honor that so many of you in thousands have subscribed to my channel and have supported me. I have written 2 books in English, The Alchemy of Money and Ordinary Stocks, Extraordinary Profits. These books are published by us and are ready. If you want to procure a copy, send us a message to the WhatsApp number given below and my team would respond to you. If you want an Amazon Kindle copy, you can click the link below. Finally, those who wish to consult with me can send a mail to berichenglish@gmail.com. Once again, I thank you for your support. If you like this video, press the subscribe button of my channel, hit the like button and turn on the bell notification.